Have you ever walked into a room, stood still and asked yourself, why am I here? Many of my patients over 60 tell me that these moments scare them more than a sore knee or a stiff back. They fear that one small lapse in memory is the first step toward Alzheimer's disease, stroke, or a life of dependence. Let me say this clearly. Losing your memory is not an automatic part of aging. Your brain is far more resilient than you have been led to believe. I've spent 30 years treating patients in America, from quiet towns in Ohio to busy streets in New York City, and I've seen the same truth repeated. With the right daily habits, your brain can stay sharp, alert, and alive. Yes, there are dangers: poor diet, social isolation, lack of exercise. The New York Times once reported that nearly 1 in 3 older Americans fears dementia more than heart disease. That fear is real, but so is the hope. A study published by the Wall Street Journal highlighted seniors who added just 20 minutes of daily walking and saw measurable improvements in memory tests. So today I want to invite you into a different conversation, one filled with healing, companionship, and hope. Do you see yourself in these stories? Have you or someone you love felt the shadow of forgetfulness? Share your experience in the comments. I will read them, and together we can build a community of strength. And if you feel this message speaks to you, please subscribe and ring the bell so we never lose touch. Number 1, what dementia is and what it is not. When I sit with patients in my clinic, one of the first questions I often hear is this: Doctor, is my memory slipping because I am getting old, or is this dementia? That question is filled with both fear and hope. Fear because dementia has become one of the most dreaded diagnoses for older Americans. Hope because deep down we want to believe that forgetfulness does not always mean our minds are failing. Let us begin by clearing the fog. Dementia is not the same as ordinary forgetfulness. All of us misplace our glasses, walk into a room and pause, or search for the right word in the middle of a conversation. These are everyday slips. They can be annoying, but they do not prevent us from living a full life. Dementia, however, is a medical condition. It is a set of symptoms that show up when the brain itself is not working as it should. Memory loss in dementia is not just about forgetting a name. It is forgetting how to get home, how to cook a familiar meal, or how to handle money safely. It touches language, judgment, vision, and even personality. Another important truth is that dementia is not one single disease. It is an umbrella term that covers several conditions. Alzheimer's disease is the most common. Vascular dementia, which often follows strokes or long-standing problems with blood vessels, is another. There are also less common causes such as Lewy body dementia and frontotemporal dementia. Each has its path, but all of them affect the brain in ways that disturb daily living. Here is where the mistake often happens. Many people shrug off early warning signs. They tell themselves it is only age, nothing to worry about. But waiting too long can close the window when changes in lifestyle, medical care, and social support are most powerful. On the other hand, some people panic too quickly, assuming one forgotten appointment means disaster. That can lead to hopelessness and even depression. So here's the lesson I want you to carry. Dementia is serious, but it is not inevitable. Memory lapses do not equal dementia. And with careful attention to symptoms, early evaluation, and the right daily choices, we can protect the brain and live with clarity. Do you ever find yourself worrying that small memory slips might be something more? Share your thoughts in the comments. By talking about this openly, we take away some of the fear and shine a light of hope. Number 2, lifestyle habits that protect the aging brain. Over the years, I have learned that the brain responds to daily habits the way muscles respond to exercise. When you train your muscles, they grow stronger. When you neglect them, they weaken. The same is true for your brain. What you choose to do every day, how you sleep, eat, move, and connect, either builds a shield for your memory or quietly erodes it. Sleep is the first habit I always emphasize. Many seniors tell me they are used to getting by on 5 hours a night. But research has shown that the brain clears away toxins and repairs itself most effectively during deep sleep. Without enough rest, memory falters and mood declines. Aim for 7 to 8 hours and think of it as a nightly gift to your brain. Nutrition is another cornerstone. Diets high in processed foods, sugars, and trans fats strain blood vessels and reduce the flow of oxygen to the brain. By contrast, eating fresh vegetables, fruits, whole grains, fish, and nuts creates an environment where brain cells thrive. A patient of mine in her 70s once told me she felt sharper within weeks of replacing soda with water and adding salmon to her meals twice a week. Physical movement is equally vital. Walking briskly, dancing, or practicing gentle yoga stimulates blood circulation and encourages the growth of new connections in the brain. Studies in respected American journals have shown that even 20 minutes of walking a day can lower the risk of dementia. When you move your body, you are also moving your brain toward resilience. Equally important is social connection. Loneliness is not just an emotion, it is a risk factor for dementia. Staying engaged with family, friends, or community groups protects mental sharpness. I often remind my patients that every conversation, every laugh, and every shared story is as nourishing to the brain as a good meal. The mistake many people make is waiting until symptoms appear before changing their habits. But the best time to protect your brain is now before decline sets in. So I ask you, which of these habits do you practice daily? Which one do you want to improve starting today? Share your reflections in the comments. Every step you take is a step toward keeping your mind strong. Number 3, the hidden role of environment and toxins. When people think about brain health, they often picture puzzles, exercise, or diet. Far fewer realize how the environment around them can quietly shape the way their brains age. Yet in my practice, I have seen again and again that exposure to toxins, whether from the kitchen, the water we drink, or even the air we breathe, can tip the balance between mental clarity and decline. Take heavy metals as an example. For decades, aluminum was used in cookware, food packaging, and even some antacids. Mercury was placed in dental fillings and thermometers. These metals can accumulate in the body, and research has suggested they may play a role in damaging brain cells. While the debate continues, I believe it is wise for older adults to reduce unnecessary exposure. Choosing stainless steel or cast iron pans instead of old aluminum pots, and filtering drinking water with high-quality charcoal filters are small but meaningful steps. Another overlooked factor is air quality. Seniors living in areas with high pollution often show faster rates of memory loss. Fine particles from traffic and industry do not just affect the lungs, they travel through the bloodstream and can reach the brain. Keeping indoor air clean, opening windows for fresh circulation when possible, or using air purifiers can help reduce this risk. Even household products deserve attention. Strong chemical cleaners, scented sprays, or certain pesticides may release compounds that irritate the brain. Simple swaps to more natural cleaners or limiting unnecessary chemicals can reduce this hidden burden. Here's the mistake many people make. They assume their environment is safe simply because they have lived in it for years. But toxins accumulate slowly. Just because harm is not immediate does not mean it is absent. I often remind my patients that prevention is not about perfection. It is about awareness and steady improvements. The lesson is clear. Protecting your brain does not stop with diet and exercise. It also means creating a home and environment that nurtures rather than challenges your memory. So let me ask you, have you ever thought about the cookware, water, or air in your home as part of your brain health plan? Share your thoughts in the comments. Sometimes the smallest changes in our surroundings create the biggest difference in how we think. Number 4, the social brain. Why loneliness is dangerous. One of the most powerful medicines for the brain is not found in a pill bottle. It is found in people. Human connection, the warmth of conversation, the comfort of laughter, the meaning of belonging, acts like oxygen for the mind. Over my 30 years of practice, I have seen patients who lived alone and isolated decline far faster than those who stayed socially engaged. Science supports this truth. Research published in the Washington Post reported that older adults who maintained regular social contact had significantly lower rates of dementia compared to those who were isolated. Social activity stimulates memory, language, and problem-solving skills in ways no crossword puzzle can fully replace. Loneliness, on the other hand, is not just an emotion. It is a biological stressor. It raises blood pressure, increases inflammation, and places the brain under constant strain. Many of my patients describe how days without meaningful interaction make them feel foggy, anxious, and older than their years. The brain, like a muscle, withers when it is not used in connection with others. Here is where companionship becomes healing. A phone call with a friend, a shared meal, or joining a local community group are not small gestures. They are lifelines. I once had a patient in his late 70s who joined a church choir after losing his wife. He told me that singing with others lifted not only his voice but also his memory. He felt sharper, lighter, and more hopeful. Now let me turn to you. Have you ever noticed that your memory feels stronger after a good conversation, or that your mood lifts when you spend time with people who care about you? Take a moment to reflect. I invite you to share your personal story in the comments. Tell us how companionship has shaped your health or what loneliness has taught you. Your voice matters, and others in this community may draw strength from your experience. Remember this lesson. Your brain is not meant to walk through life alone. Connection is not optional. It is essential. And every smile, every handshake, every story shared is a gift you give to your brain as much as to your heart. Number 5, move your body, protect your mind. If there is one habit I wish every senior would embrace, it is movement. Not extreme exercise, not hours at the gym, but steady, regular movement that tells the body and brain, I am still alive and I am still strong. Over the years, I have watched patients who stay physically active maintain sharper memories, steadier balance, and greater independence compared to those who sit too long in the same chair. The science is clear. The New York Times reported on studies showing that even simple walking improves blood flow to the brain and reduces the buildup of harmful proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. When you walk, dance, or stretch, you are not just working your muscles. You are improving circulation, feeding your brain with oxygen, and lowering the risk of strokes that can steal memory. Here's a story I carry with me. A gentleman in his early 80s came to me with early signs of forgetfulness. Instead of medication alone, I encouraged him to start with 20 minutes of walking each morning. 3 months later, his memory tests had improved, his mood was brighter, and his wife said he laughed more often. Movement gave him back more than memory. It gave him joy. The mistake many make is thinking exercise must be intense to be worthwhile. That is not true. Gentle yoga, light resistance training with bands, or even dancing to your favorite song in the kitchen count as powerful brain medicine. The key is consistency, not intensity. So let me ask you directly, how much do you move in a typical day? Do you walk, stretch, or garden? Or do you find yourself sitting more than you would like? I invite you to share your routine in the comments. By speaking it out loud, you not only commit to yourself, you inspire someone else in this community to take their first step. Remember this truth. When you move your body, you protect your mind. Every step, every stretch, every glance is an investment in keeping your brain alive and alert for the years ahead. Number 6, train your brain. Memory skills and hobbies. A strong body supports the brain, but an active mind keeps it alive. Just as muscles weaken without use, memory fades when it is not challenged. Over the years, I have seen one clear pattern. Patients who continue to learn, play, and stay curious keep their minds sharper than those who let their days slip by in silence and routine. Studies have confirmed this truth. The Wall Street Journal reported that older adults who regularly engaged in mentally stimulating hobbies, like playing chess, reading new books, or learning music, were far less likely to develop dementia than their peers. Even crossword puzzles or strategy games done several times a week can build resilience in memory pathways. I often remind my patients that the brain loves novelty. It does not need perfection. You do not have to master the piano or become a champion chess player. What matters is that you are asking your brain to stretch, to solve, to create. That stretch is what keeps neurons firing and connections strong. The mistake many seniors make is falling into passive habits. Hours of television or scrolling through endless news without interaction do little for memory. They may fill time, but do not feed the brain. Active engagement, solving, learning, creating, maintaining, brings the spark of growth. I recall a patient in her 70s who began painting for the first time after retirement. She admitted she was not talented, but she loved the colors and the challenge. Over time, she noticed not only more joy, but better focus and memory. Her art became her therapy. Now, I want to ask you, what activity makes your brain come alive? Do you play a game, read novels, dance, or maybe learn something new online? Please share your favorite brain-boosting hobby in the comments. Your story may inspire someone else to pick up a book, a brush, or a board game tonight. Remember, training your brain is not about adding pressure. It is about giving yourself the gift of curiosity. Every puzzle solved, every song played, every story read is a seed planted for a sharper mind tomorrow. Number 7, nutrition for a strong mind. If there is one truth I want every patient to carry, it is this. What you put on your plate today shapes how you think tomorrow. The brain is a hungry organ. Though it makes up only about 2% of body weight, it uses close to 20% of the energy we consume. That means every meal you eat is either fueling your memory or quietly draining it. The most harmful mistake I see is a diet heavy in processed foods. Packaged snacks, sugary drinks, and fried fast food may be quick, but they starve the brain of what it truly needs. Over time, these foods clog blood vessels, raise inflammation, and reduce oxygen flow to the brain. A senior who starts the day with a pastry and soda is not just feeding the body empty calories. He is asking his brain to work with half its power. Contrast that with a meal built on whole living foods. Leafy greens, berries, whole grains, nuts, and fish are powerhouses for memory. The New York Times once highlighted research showing that seniors who followed a Mediterranean-style diet, rich in olive oil, vegetables, fish, and legumes, had a significantly lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. It is not about one magical food, but about patterns. A plate full of color almost always means a brain full of protection. Omega-3 fatty acids found in salmon, mackerel, and walnuts are another cornerstone. These healthy fats reduce inflammation and build flexible cell membranes that help nerve cells communicate. Antioxidants from blueberries, spinach, and citrus fruits fight the free radicals that damage brain tissue over time. B vitamins from beans, eggs, and whole grains support the production of neurotransmitters, the very chemicals your brain uses to think and remember. I often tell my patients to think of food as daily medicine. One woman in her late 60s came to me worried about growing forgetful. She lived on frozen dinners and white bread. We worked together to add one new habit at a time: a handful of almonds in the afternoon, a salad with olive oil each evening, water instead of soda. Within 2 months, she told me she felt more alert in the mornings and less foggy after meals. The difference was not dramatic in a single day, but over time it was life-changing. Here is the lesson. Nutrition is not about strict rules or guilt. It is about choosing foods that serve your brain instead of stealing from it. Even one change, swapping fried food for grilled fish or candy for an apple, starts the process of healing. So let me ask you, what is the one food you know you should eat more often, and what is the one food you want to let go of? Share your answers in the comments. Your decision may inspire another person here to take that same small but powerful step. Remember, every meal is a chance to invest in your memory. The brain you will live with tomorrow begins with the fork you lift today. Number 8, smart supplements. What science says. In my 30 years of practice, I have noticed something very common among older patients. Many of them walk into my office with a small bag filled with bottles of vitamins and supplements. They tell me, "Doctor, I heard this pill will keep my memory sharp." I always smile gently because while some supplements truly support brain health, others do little more than lighten the wallet. The key is knowing which ones are backed by science and how to use them wisely. Let us start with the ones that show the strongest evidence. B vitamins, especially B6, B12, and folate, are essential for the production of neurotransmitters and for lowering homocysteine, a chemical that, in high amounts, is linked to memory decline. A report in the Boston Globe once highlighted research showing that seniors with higher levels of B vitamins perform better on memory tests than those with deficiencies. That does not mean everyone needs injections or high doses, but it does mean that regular intake through diet and, when necessary, supplements can be protective. Vitamin D is another important nutrient. Many older adults, particularly those who spend little time outdoors, are deficient. Low vitamin D levels have been associated with an increased risk of cognitive decline. Simple testing and appropriate supplementation can correct this gap and support both bone strength and brain function. Magnesium also plays a quiet but crucial role. It helps regulate nerve signaling and supports blood flow to the brain. Patients who increase magnesium through diet, such as by eating more beans, nuts, and leafy greens, often report improved sleep and calmer moods, both of which protect memory indirectly. Now let's talk about antioxidants. Vitamin C and vitamin E fight oxidative stress, which slowly damages brain cells. But here is the caution. While moderate supplementation may help, very high doses, especially of vitamin E, can thin the blood and interact with medications. This is why I always urge patients to talk with their doctor before adding new pills to the cabinet. Among the smart nutrients, a few stand out. Omega-3 fatty acids, often taken as fish oil, have been shown in multiple studies to support brain flexibility and reduce inflammation. Another is phosphatidylserine, a natural compound that helps nerve cells communicate. Some clinical trials reported in the Wall Street Journal suggest it can improve memory in older adults. The mistake many people make is treating supplements as magic cures. They are not. No capsule can replace healthy food, movement, sleep, and social connection. Supplements should be seen as allies, not saviors. They work best when added to an already balanced lifestyle. So let me ask you, do you currently take supplements for your memory or overall health? Which ones do you trust, and which ones leave you unsure? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience may help another viewer make a wiser choice. Remember, smart supplementation is not about chasing miracles. It is about filling small gaps, supporting your body gently, and always working in partnership with your doctor. In the end, it is consistency, not quick fixes, that protects your brain for the long road ahead. Number 9, closing, hope, healing, and daily action. As we bring this journey together to a close, I want to leave you with a truth that has guided me through 3 decades of caring for patients. The brain, even in later years, is not fixed in decline. It is alive, flexible, and waiting to be nourished. Memory loss, confusion, or fear of dementia do not have to define your final chapters. With every choice you make, every meal, every walk, every conversation, you are shaping the story of your brain's future. We have talked about what dementia is and what it is not. We explored the role of lifestyle, environment, social connection, exercise, hobbies, and nutrition. We even uncovered the real power and limitations of supplements. But beyond all of this science lies a deeper message. You are not powerless. Change is possible at 60, 70, even 80 years old. I have watched patients who once felt hopeless regain clarity and joy simply by embracing small daily actions. The New York Times once reported that seniors who adopted healthier habits late in life, better diets, more activity, stronger social ties, still gain measurable improvements in memory and mood. That tells me, and it should tell you, that it is never too late. Hope is not a theory. Hope is what happens when knowledge meets action. I also want you to remember that healing is not just medical. It is emotional. It is spiritual. A warm conversation with your neighbor, the peace of prayer, the laughter shared with family. All of these are as vital to your brain as any vitamin or medicine. Protecting your brain is not only about science, it is about living fully. So here is my encouragement to you. If you feel overwhelmed by all the advice, begin small. Pick one habit today. Maybe it is replacing soda with water, or walking for 10 minutes after lunch, or calling a friend you have not spoken to in months. One small change is the seed that grows into transformation. And now I want to ask you something from the heart. As you listen today, did a story or memory rise up in you? Did you think of a loved one who struggled, or of your moments of forgetfulness that worried you? I invite you to share those feelings in the comments below. By writing them down, you honor your own experience and you offer strength to others who might be walking the same path. This channel is not just about information. It is about community, companionship, and the healing power of sharing. If today's message has touched you, I warmly encourage you to subscribe and ring the bell. That way, we can continue this journey together. Your health, your hope, and your story matter to me, and to this entire community. And before we go, I want to guide you to our next important step. There is one hidden danger sitting quietly in millions of American kitchens, a sweetener that promises flavor, but quietly harms both the brain and the heart. If you want to protect yourself and your loved ones, you cannot afford to ignore this. Watch this next video. Stop using this sweetener before it harms your brain and heart. It will open your eyes to one of the most overlooked threats to senior health, and more importantly, it will show you what to do instead. Remember, protecting your brain before it needs saving is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Let us keep walking this road of healing together.